This has got the Fix-It Guide with a repair on a Neptune washer. This is the Neptune washer dryer laundry center, and we're going to be putting on a new motor and a new motor control. And this is due to the fact that it would keep stopping through various points of the cycle, and then if you restarted it, it would start and work for a while, but then it would just turn itself off again. This is a common symptom when the motor and motor controller are going out, and these are now sold as a kit, so you can't really put in just a new controller or just a new motor, but you put them both in. So we're taking the back panel off. We've got it unplugged already, and I'm just going to pull the belt off the big pulley by turning the pulley and kind of pulling it toward me. And I'm going to be removing this bolt that's holding on the motor. So it's just actually one bolt. So we got the bolt off, pull the motor off, and the kit comes with new bushings that hold the motor in position. So I'm going to use my finger to push out the two bushings, and then I'll put the new ones in. I've got the new motor here. I'm going to feed that in. There's one little screw we're going to get out here that's holding the wires from the old motor. Unloosen that screw, get that out of the way first. So by putting in this new motor and new motor controller, it did solve that problem, which was the machine just stopping at different points in the cycle, and you had to keep pressing the start button again. A machine that's just not spinning, it could be the wax motor has worn out, but this one had a different type of symptom where it would go to spin, but then it would just stop again for no reason. So we've got the new motor pushed in from the back. We're going to be now removing the door by removing two Phillips head screws, and then you want to kind of wiggle the door and pull it out away from the washer, and that should come loose. Then there's a couple of Phillips head screws here on the other side that we're going to remove. And then the whole front panel comes off. Pretty cool design. Most machines, it's a lot harder to get the front panel off. And we're going to wiggle these arms of the panel and pull it toward us, and then we'll lift it off the bottom clips. A lot of wiggling in appliance repair. That's how you get things to move. So this is the old motor, pulling that out. And we're just getting the old motor wire disconnected from the motor control. So got that loose, so the whole motor now is removed from the machine. And we still have to remove the old motor controller. It's a pretty easy procedure. There's actually not much you need to do. We're going to be pulling these modular connectors out. There's 3 of them in total, one for the motor, and then these 2. We have to remove 2 little bolts that are holding it in from the front. We're going to lift it up and then pull it out. It has a couple of little plastic legs that hold it to the frame, but you just have to tilt it up and pull it out. Here's a new one. So we're going to put those little legs in first and then tilt it into position, and then we'll set it down and we'll add those 2 screws back in to hold it. These are pretty good machines. They last a long time. They do have trouble though with the spin, usually due to when the wax motor goes out, and then also the controller that lives up near the dryer sometimes will burn out and then it won't go to spin. So we're putting the modular connectors back on. There's the one for the motor. Make sure that these are pushed in as tight as they can go, so there's no wiggle room left, but they're really in there secure. Those screws. This is a screw that holds the green ground wire for the motor control. You want to make sure you get that in there tight. And the new motor controller comes with like an extra wire jack that you can just pull out and remove. That allows you to push in the green modular connector from your old machine. So there's the new motor. We're going to lift it up into position and then push it in. Push the motor pins in so that it's now connected to the tub. We still have to put the bolt in though from the back. So now we're just got it basically in position. We're going to route the wires for the motor, and we have to take this one and bolt it down to the frame. Okay, that's in. I'm going to put the door back on. This is just for testing purposes. We didn't even put the front panel on. We just put the door on. We're going to tighten it up, close the door. We're going to hook it all up and just test it before we put the front panel back on. You could skip this step and just actually put the front panel and just reassemble it. I'm keeping it open just so I can watch what's happening from the front. I'm in the back now, and I'm putting that bolt back in, the washer and bolt that hold the motor in position. I'm going to put it on kind of loosely at first, and then I'll put the belt over the motor pulley and then over the big pulley on the tub, and then I'll tighten that bolt up. So first I'm just putting the belt on. So the belt has ribs on it, and the ribs go in toward the washer. And I'm just turning that big pulley, and that'll feed it right on. I'm going to do maybe one big spin here before I tighten everything up to make sure the belt is on there. So we'll go ahead and put the bolt that holds the motor in position, and we're going to start tightening it up. So to do all this, you don't have to really do much disconnection of the machine, just to unplug it. You can keep the washer lines and the drain line and the gas line and the vent tube for the dryer all hooked up if you'd like. Because usually they give you a little extra line so you can get the thing out away from the wall. So I'm tightening up that bolt, but I'm also pushing the motor away from me. I'm pushing it out toward my right. That makes the motor and belt tight on the big pulley. We're just going to test it. We'll push it toward fill, and we'll let it fill up. We'll let it agitate, and then we'll go to spin. We're just going to watch, make sure that the motor's behaving. So this is an easy repair, a little bit expensive for these parts, but this will cure that problem of where the machine just stops in the cycle. So during testing it's looking good. Just watching the motor from the front. see it spinning. It's going back and forth for agitation. I'm watching it from the back. Spinning really good. So we can go ahead and reassemble it now. So we can unplug it. We'll put the back panel on. There's 4 little bolts that hold this on. So I'm going to take the door back off just for a second here so I can put the front panel back on. I'm going to finish my testing. Again, you don't even really need to do this. You can just right away put the front panel on during your reassembly. So I'm going to push the upper part of the panel on, and then I'll add the door back on. So Maytag used to do a really nice job with these Neptunes for aesthetics. They had thicker enamel paint, really nice badges, very cool design. It's actually one of the very first front-loading washing machines. When you have a no-spin situation, it is common that the little wax motor on the door lock assembly is just worn out. Sometimes replacing just the wax motor will do the trick. Sometimes you have to replace the wax motor and the controller for the wax motor, which again lives up above the dryer on the right-hand side. Let's get those screws back in. Closed it. We'll give it another test. So it did great, and that solved the problem. I hope this works for you, and please subscribe and like the video when you get a chance. Thanks for watching.